both directions. Keep an eye out in the Annapolis area, 450 Defense Highway in the westbound direction. That westbound lane is closed after Windermere Court and near the I-97 overpass due to a crash with a vehicle into a pole. It was the eastbound lane that was still able to get by. In Virginia, northbound 95 slows Dale City to the Prince William Parkway. Eastbound 66, more volume coming out of Manassas, trying to make your way into Centerville. Old Dominion Drive, south of Georgetown Pike, near Falls Run Road. That was blocked for fire department activity. Lee Mill Road was closed between Georgetown Pike and Tolston Road for an earlier wreck that resulted in a fuel spill from a tanker truck. So they have a lot of cleanup there. In the district, northbound I-295, the delay. Suitland Parkway onto the 11th Street Bridge and southbound DC 295 slows after Eastern Avenue, making your way toward East Capitol Street. Need more data so you can stream your jam mix on loop? Switch to Straight Talk and get real unlimited data on reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff. I've got a test car right now with a heated steering wheel that I can't figure out how to turn off, which was fine yesterday morning, but not as comfortable this morning.
You have warm digits this morning. Maybe you have to wear gloves.
Yeah. Some insulation.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know if that's a good sign for the car if you can't even figure out how to utilize it. But
well, I haven't taken the time to learn. It's my fault, really.
YouTube it, I guess.
Yeah.
Listen, it is a little damp. Hopefully you can learn how to turn on the wipers. We just have this light mist out there. I was looking at the radar over here in the Weather Center, and you just really don't see much because we have this very fine light mist. It's not really showing up as reflectivity on the radar, but we have this dampness, a warm front trying to lift across our area. It's this boundary that's going to be with us all weekend long and hence going to make our weather somewhat unsettled for the next couple of days. Once it lifts through later today, it'll stay cloudy, but it will be warm. I think we could get to near 80 degrees this afternoon, and the bulk of the day will be dry once this dampness kind of fades out, but it is something that we're dealing with here this morning. Through the afternoon, you'll feel that warmth. A few showers and thunderstorms may hold together into the evening. We've been talking about the strong weather through the Midwest, and some of that leftover action may push our way into the evening, so we could have a couple of strong storms if they hold together later on. Overnight, we're talking temperatures in the 50s and low 60s. It's going to stay fairly mild. Tomorrow, near 70 with maybe a shower or two early. Still kind of a cloudy day, but not a rainy full day. Just a little bit of shower potential in the morning. And same deal into the weekend. We'll have shower chances both days. Right now, Saturday, a better chance in the morning. Sunday, a better chance later in the afternoon. Both days over the weekend will be in the 70s. So I still think there's plenty of dry time if you're out and about this weekend. I just have to have you remember that there could at some point be a few showers or even a storm to roll through, but there'll still be outside time, and temperatures will be in the 70s, and you'll want to take advantage of it because I am looking at longer term. Next week, we could fall back into the 50s as we start the new work week, so we could definitely see another little cool snap headed our way here for the second week of April. It's 57 right now in Adelphi. Meanwhile, over in Fairfax City, it is 52. Oxon Hill checking in this morning at 58 degrees.
Thank you, Brian. And coming up on WTOP, how one daughter saved her father's life. More news here in 60 seconds.
75% of cyber attacks involve compromised privileged credentials. Is your federal agency protected? Weak passwords and poor privileged access controls leave your systems exposed, putting national security at risk. Keeper Security is the FedRAMP authorized zero trust privileged access management solution built for protecting sensitive data and infrastructure. Meet federal security standards by securing access to every system, server, and database. Visit keepersecurity.com today.
The Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority Police Department is hosting an exclusive recruitment event for entry-level and lateral police officers on Saturday, April 12th, starting at 8 a.m. at the Criminal Justice Police Academy in Ashburn, Virginia. This event is an opportunity to fast-track your career by completing multiple phases of the hiring process in just one day. Visit mwaa.com/events for full event details. That's mwaa.com/events.
You just realized your business needs to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
This is WTOP News.
Facts matter.
5:53.
A family member got to play the role of hero after learning that her dad needed another organ transplant. WTOP's Mike Murillo has their story during National Donate Life Month.
Last year, testing showed Mark Maggio would need a new kidney.
That was kind of devastating news.
His daughter, Carrie, would step up to help.
I quickly decided that I wanted to
help him in this way.
To give you some background on why the call was so easy for Carrie, she wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the last transplant. Not only for the transplant itself, but it also introduced her dad to the transplant nurse, who would later become his wife, and her mom, Anna Marie, who says she initially turned him down back then.
And he just looked like a whipped pup, like, I can't believe she's saying no.
He'd get that date, and 3 kids and 35 years of wedded bliss later, their daughter would provide his second gift of life at MedStar Georgetown Hospital.
I'm so grateful.
For Carrie, she encourages others to see if they're a match.
It's really a remarkable experience.
Mike Murillo, WTOP News.
Sports at 25 and 55. Powered by Maximus. Moving people and technology forward.
Dave Preston, that Ovi guy is pretty good at the hockey.
He is not bad at all. Give him some time. Maybe he'll settle in.
He has promise.
Capitals come up short in Carolina 5-1, while Alex Ovechkin's goal gives him 39 for the season, 892 for his career. That's 3 away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's NHL mark, entering tomorrow's home game with Chicago. Defenseman Trevor Van Riemsdyk.
It's going to be pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's right there, and he feels like he's still scoring every night. So it's been huge for us, and obviously awesome for him to see that he's still doing it at this torrid pace. And if he hadn't got hurt, he'd be probably right up there to have the most this year.
Again, the Caps clash with Chicago tomorrow evening. NBA, the Wizards beat Sacramento 116-111. The Davis Bertans Sox have been laundered. They are ready to be worn if there is a winning streak. Baseball, Nationals lose in Toronto 4-2. C.J. Abrams homers in the losing effort. Men's college hoops, Maryland introduces Buzz Williams as its new head coach.
I want to make a good decision on how the league, what's important in the Big Ten. We've never coached in the Big Ten. So I want to have some context on what that is. But I think the coach's job is to get the best players that fit the people you want to be around, and then figure out how to put them in a position to be as successful as they can be.
I think the biggest stumbling block entering the Big Ten, I don't know if he knows there are 18 schools in the conference. College basketball crowned quarterfinals. Georgetown falls to Nebraska 81-69. Dave Preston, WTOP Sports.
Should be the bigger than 10. Coming up on WTOP, markets plummet in response to the latest tariff announcements. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Just 85 cents with $1 purchase in the DQ app. It's a dream come true. Hurry and get your small Blizzard treat for just 85 cents with $1 purchase when you sign up for DQ Rewards.
Ugh, I can't stand this traffic.
Stop driving. The Virginia Railway Express is the way to go.
Why?
For starters, VRE accepts federal transit benefits, which saves you money. And the region's free Guaranteed Ride Home program makes sure you're covered if you need to get home unexpectedly.
That's a relief.
Plus, no parking hassles, no stress. Just a smooth, comfortable ride into D.C.
Wow, I'm switching to VRE. Reduce stress and ride with peace of mind. Visit VRE.org today.
This is WTOP News. WTOP FM Washington. WWWTFM Manassas. WTLP FM Braddock Heights, Frederick.
Traffic and weather on the 8s. Here's Rita.
Well, thanks to callers for letting us know of a problem on northbound 95, but in the express lanes. So it is northbound 95 after you get into them from Dale Boulevard. That's where you're going to find the crash. First, crowding the right lane. Then, a little further from that, crowding the left lane. So just keep an eye out. The road is drivable, but it is in the express lanes. Your delays in both your main and express lanes begin before Dale City, and then the delays continue toward the Prince William Parkway. Volume through Lorton, also some volume in Newington. No problems on 395, 66 eastbound starting to slow in Manassas, and northbound 28 a little heavy coming from 66. Now it was Old Dominion Drive south of Georgetown Pike near Falls Run Road that was blocked for fire department activity. Lee Mill Road in McLean was closed between Georgetown Pike and Tolston Road near Difficult Run. Tanker truck with a fuel spill that was involved in an earlier wreck. In Maryland, northbound Route 4 was still seeing the volume coming from Ritchie Marlboro Road headed toward Dower House Road, where the crash had been reported on the right side. Westbound 450 Defense Highway near the I-97 overpass was the scene of a wreck, and 355 near Strathmore Avenue, it had still been a single lane getting by the work in both directions. The WTOP Traffic Center is presented by Window Nation. Today, buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Visit windownation.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
And now 7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff.
Well, it's going to be a warm one, but not lots of sunshine. Clouds continue to win out. There will be breezes and a bit of mugginess kind of returning into the mix. You'll feel it in the air. Into the back half of the day, a few showers or thunderstorms possible. And if they come together, could be on the stronger side for some, so we'll watch that carefully. Any showers and storms in the evening should taper off. Temperatures in the 60s. Tomorrow, near 70 or so, with a few hit-or-miss showers on your Friday to wrap up the work week. Into the weekend, it's more early on Saturday that I see some showers, then dry but mild. Temperatures in the low to mid-70s. A few more showers and storms on Sunday. I'm 7 News senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff in the First Alert Weather Center.
53 degrees in Columbia, 56 in Alexandria, and 57 now in Penn Quarter.
You're listening to WTOP, Washington's news, traffic, and weather station.
WTOP News. Facts matter.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Bash.
And I'm John Aaron. Coming up,
President Trump rolls out details of his sweeping new tariffs, and the markets do not appear to be happy.
A Senate snub of the president's tariffs against Canada. I'm Mitchell Miller, today on the Hill.
Democrats in Virginia rejecting the governor's budget changes. This is Kyle Cooper.
If you speed in Virginia, you may have to install this in your car. I'm Neil Augenstein.
6 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump says the answer's simple.
If you want your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America.
But many Americans and world leaders are skeptical about his newly announced 10% tariffs on imports from nearly every nation on the planet. Some are a lot higher. KRLD Radio's Chris Fox is in Austin.
My first question was simple. What do you think of President Trump's tariffs?
It's going to raise prices, and people who voted for him are going to regret it.
We're supposed to be going lower, not higher.
You know, if a car is going to go up $10,000, he can barely afford them as it is now.
My second question, do you think the president's plan to redraw economic agreements with U.S. trading partners will work?
It's just not well thought out.
I just don't agree with him. We're going to see a lot of grief because of him.
Some kind of shotgun approach that is not doing us a favor.
Those new tariffs on cars and trucks take effect today, and American manufacturers not immune. Economist Gus Fauché.
If you think about, U.S. car makers who use imported parts, they're going to raise their prices in response.
A handful of Republicans joined Democrats in the Senate voting to block some tariffs on Canada. Kentucky's Rand Paul.
This is a tax, plain and simple. Taxes should not be enacted by one person.
The resolution's expected to die, though, in the GOP-controlled House. Dow futures down 1,100. S&P and NAS futures down over 3%. Deadly weather swept states in the South and Midwest. A twister that tore through Delta, Missouri, ripped the roof off Talon Landoui's home.
That was really, really hard, and they wouldn't let you into town, or anyone to my house, so it was just felt pretty helpless, I guess. There's nothing I could do.
At least one person died when powerful winds damaged buildings and overturned cars in Missouri. There are reports of a warehouse collapsing outside Indianapolis, trapping one person inside. Some movement in the case of a California man accused of trying to assassinate Supreme Court Justice. Nicholas Roski was arrested outside Brett Kavanaugh's home in Maryland in 2022, armed with a gun, a knife, and tools for a burglary. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
This case has languished in the courts for a few years, part because of mental health and competency screenings that have been underway. But according to a court filing and reviewed by CBS News, he is to plead guilty. The public defender in this case is offering up to have the plea agreement hearing on Monday.
New toxicology report confirms the 14-year-old son of former Yankees player Brett Gardner died of extraordinarily high levels of carbon monoxide in a hotel room in Costa Rica. Miller Gardner was vacationing with family members who also got sick but recovered. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
6:03 on Thursday morning, April 3rd. We're at 55 degrees, going up to around 80 today. Look for isolated storms later. Good morning. I'm Michelle Bash.
And I'm John Aaron. The top story we're following is reaction to those tariffs. it is still pouring in. The president is imposing a 10% baseline tax on imports from all countries and even higher tariff rates on dozens of nations that run trade surpluses with the U.S. Experts say this could trigger a trade war with our closest trading partners. Now, just hours after President Trump announced his latest tariffs, the Senate narrowly voted to undo tariffs against Canada. The vote was 51-48, with 4 Republicans joining Democrats. WTOP's Mitchell Miller has more today on the Hill.
The legislation is sponsored by Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine, who says the U.S. neighbor to the north shouldn't be singled out for punishment due to a national emergency declared by the president against fentanyl.
Let's not label an ally as an enemy. Let's not impose punishing costs on American families.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune criticized the bill, as well as an attempt by Kaine to lift an earlier national emergency declaration related to energy.
The American people recognize that these are legitimate crises and that they warrant an aggressive response.
The bill needs approval in the House, but it's not expected to get a vote in the lower chamber. On Capitol Hill, Mitchell Miller, WTOP News.
In other news, Democratic lawmakers in Virginia are teaming up to push back on changes to the state budget proposed by Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Republican. More from WTOP's Kyle Cooper.
In a marathon session, Democrats in the Virginia House and Senate rejecting Youngkin's proposed changes, including withholding money from local law enforcement that don't cooperate with federal immigration authorities and $10 million for charter schools. The House of Delegates rejected 164 of the governor's 205 proposed changes. Senate and House leaders, however, seem to be in agreement on a plan to reduce taxes, including a one-time rebate of $200 for individuals, $400 for couples filing jointly. The budget goes back to the governor, who can still use his line item veto to get rid of things he doesn't like. Kyle Cooper, WTOP News.
Speeders know they're supposed to slow down, and Virginia is set to use smart technology to make sure they do. WTOP's Neil Augenstein has the details.
Here in Virginia, if you've been convicted of reckless driving and going more than 100 miles an hour, a judge will soon be able to order you to install an intelligent speed assistance device in your car. The exact technology isn't defined in the new bill, but it will be based on smart GPS technology that looks at where you are and is able to gauge how fast you're going. The driver would have to foot the cost for the device as an option to having their license suspended. It'll be a Class 1 misdemeanor for tampering with the device or trying to bypass it. The new law is expected to take effect in July 2026. On the Dulles Toll Road, Neil Augenstein, WTOP News.
Thousands of pounds of roadside rubbish. That's what one state collected during a spring clean of its highways. As WTOP's Gigi Barnett explains, workers are renewing a plea to drivers.
The first of several seasonal roadway cleanups in Maryland brought in an eye-popping amount of garbage last week. Highway workers picked up everything from illegally dumped tires and mattresses to doll heads and pedicure chairs.
It can add up.
And boy, did it. Up to 300 truckloads of garbage. State Highway Administration spokesperson Shantae Felix says the large collection has re-sparked an old request to drivers.
Put litter where it belongs, in the trash.
For drivers who can't pick it up, remember where it is and
report it when they see it on their roadways, and we can go dispose of it.
Gigi Barnett, WTOP News.
Coming up in Money News, stocks could open sharply lower this morning over tariff fears. Traffic and weather in 30 seconds.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
It's 6:08.
Get a precision AC tune-up for only $59.
Michael and Son.
Traffic and weather on the 8s in the traffic center. Rita Kessler.
And we're still seeing the delay right now on northbound 4 coming from Ritchie Marlborough Road headed toward Dower House Road. The wreck was mostly off the road to the right at this point. Not sure if the right side is in fact blocked travel-wise, but it is still causing the delay in that direction. Today, not the traffic light issue, but the actual crash. Northbound 5 and 301 now looking a little better through Brandywine. 5 continues heavy, though, from the split past Moores Road toward Earnshaw and then towards Surratt's, and then it looks good to the Beltway. If you're on 270 southbound, that's going to be the delay that's after 85 headed toward 109, then the volume from Father Hurley Boulevard toward Montgomery Village Avenue, then it looks good to the lane divide. The Beltway, outer loop delays off of 95 and before 95 headed around toward 29 Colesville Road. It was northbound on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. The ramp to 450 had been blocked with the wreck, and 355 Rockville Pike near Strathmore Avenue, the late to clear work zone, single lane getting by in each direction. Now in Virginia, the crashes in the northbound 95 express lanes after Dale Boulevard, the crash taking first the right side, then the left side. There was kind of crowding both sides there. Things were both over on the shoulder, but kind of crowding first the right lane, then the left lane. You're seeing the delays getting through Dale City. Main lane is slow before Dale City, headed toward the Prince William Parkway, and then the volume through Lorton and Newington. Good into Springfield. No problems on 395. 66 just heavy eastbound passing 234 business. The support brought to you by Fitzgerald Auto. It's a boy. It's a girl. It's a Kia. Fitzgerald Auto Mall welcomes a new brand to the family with Kia of Annapolis. Discover transparency you can trust with your new Kia at fitzmall.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
Let's get that forecast now from 7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff.
Heading into a bit of an unsettled pattern, but it is milder. Temperatures today pushing near 80 despite the fact that clouds will win out. We are looking at the potential for a couple of showers or storms into the evening, and some of those could be on the stronger side as we head through the back half of the day. So we'll keep an eye on that. I do think they'll be somewhat isolated. Heading into the evening, temperatures in the 60s. Tomorrow will be near 70 degrees. A few showers still possible as this boundary kind of hangs out around our area. In fact, all weekend long, some scattered showers and storms are possible both days with temperatures in the 70s. I'm 7 News senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff in the First Alert Weather Center.
Now 52 in Dulles, at Dulles, I should say, 55 at BWI Marshall, 57 at Reagan National. Brought to you by Long Fence. Save 25% on decks, pavers, and fences. 6 months. No payment, no interest. Conditions apply. Go to longfence.com.
6:10 Money News at 10 and 40. Dow futures are down over 2.5% on fears that President Trump's tariffs will spark a trade war. NASDAQ futures are down more than 3.5%. Global financial markets have been broadly shaky lately because of uncertainty about Trump's potential trade war. Economists warn the import tax hikes sharply raise the risk of recession.
Wawa is looking to substantially increase its footprint in Northern Virginia as it competes with others, including Sheetz and Rudders, for choice spots in the Commonwealth. The Pennsylvania chain has retained commercial real estate services firm Rappaport to scout out sites in Arlington, Fairfax, and Loudoun counties. Rappaport recently began marketing Wawa's interest to prospective property owners with sites for sale or lease that meet its search criteria. It could potentially open about 20 stores under the current push, which also includes the cities of Alexandria and Fairfax. Wawa picked Rappaport last summer to represent it in Northern Virginia after having positive interactions with the company on another deal in which Rappaport represented the landlord.
Sponsored by Compassion International.
Thousands of kids in poverty have waited over a year for a sponsor. End their wait today. Sponsor a child with compassion. Just text radio to 83393.
Coming up, excitement is building as Alex Ovechkin closes in on a record. 612.
When you're replacing an appliance, you need a new one fast. And we know what you're thinking. That means big box store. But here's what you should be thinking. Bray beats big. At Bray & Scarf, we offer next-day delivery on hundreds of appliances with online delivery day tracking. And we install when we deliver. The big box stores make you wait for installation on another day. Don't want it delivered? We offer fast, free in-store pickup. The big box stores simply can't compete. For big hassles and headaches, the big box stores have you covered. For appliances made easy, the answer is Bray & Scarf.
It's spring savings. Going on now at Bray & Scarf. Save up to 30% on select GE Profile and Cafe appliances. And save on in-stock GE Profile refrigerators and best-selling washers and dryers. Shop local, in-store, and online at brayandscarf.com, where it doesn't cost more to get more.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed.
Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Longing to upgrade your outdoor living space this spring, but concerned about costs? Well, not only does Long Fence have the highest quality materials, an expert staff, and priceless designs, financing is available for qualified buyers. And right now, all fences, decks, and pavers are 25% off. Terms and conditions apply. Go to longfence.com for a free estimate today.
There's a long time name for quality. Long Fence.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Coming up,
Prince George's warns of the impact of proposed federal education cuts. I'm John Doman.
More from WTOP in 30 seconds.
Thompson Creek Window Company designs, builds, and installs replacement windows without the middleman markup. You get high-quality windows at an affordable price direct from our local factory. Call now for our biggest sale of the year. Take advantage of our best prices and lowest monthly payments on all windows and doors for a limited time. Call 855-57-CREEK now.
Home sweet Thompson Creek.
This just in from Bethesda.
This just in from Fairfax County.
Get This Just In delivered to your inbox or your phone. Go to WTOP.com, search newsletter, and sign up for the alerts you want. Breaking local news, traffic, weather. From Washington's top news, WTOP.
6:15, I'm John Aaron.
I'm Michelle Bash. Caps superstar Alexander Ovechkin is closing in on NHL history. The 39-year-old scoring his 892nd goal of his career in a loss to the Carolina Hurricanes last night.
Strome coordinating Ovechkin. One time, he scores! The chase is as easy as 1, 2, 3 now.
That's Joe Beninati with the call on Monumental Sports Network. Ovechkin 3 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. We want to hear from you as the Caps captain moves closer to that record. Send your words of encouragement and thanks through the WTOP app. Just use the feedback button in the navigation bar.
Alarm bells are going off in Prince George's County, where the school system is looking at as much as $98 million in almost immediate budget reductions because of the federal education cuts. WTOP's John Doman reports.
In a letter to parents this week, Superintendent Millard House says the Education Department's announcement that it's immediately stopping the reimbursement of grant money related to COVID-era spending leaves the county in a big hole. Congressman Glenn Ivey, who reps most of the county, says the idea that it's unused money isn't true.
A lot of it's already been spent. I want to say like 2/3 to 3/4 of it's already been spent. But they're talking about not reimbursing for that either.
PGCPS says it froze spending related to the grant money being pulled back. Those funds were going to be used for things like teacher training, tech upgrades, school construction, and mental health. The state attorney general's office says it's weighing legal options. John Doman, WTOP News.
An increasing number of kids are going to the emergency room for mental health crises and then get sent home rather than admitted. WTOP's Scott Gelman is hearing from a Virginia researcher who says there's not much help for those students once they get back to school.
Kids are going to the emergency department in crisis, being discharged and expected to return to their regular life, which often includes returning to school the next day.
When they get there, Dr. Laura Henderson-Smith with the University of Virginia says they have a reentry meeting with school leaders. But that's where the support usually stops.
There has been a focus on hospital to school transition and not so much on ED to school.
Sometimes schools don't even know kids have been to the ER, but research recommends a different approach.
They would come up with a game plan for supporting the students' mental health. They would go over a safety plan to make sure that there's a plan in place for if the student is in crisis again.
She says schools can also assign an adult to check in with the student to make sure they're okay. Scott Gelman, WTOP News.
Here's a look at the top stories we're working on at WTOP.
World markets are reeling after President Trump announces tariffs, a new round.
The EU is said to be preparing countermeasures to counter President Trump's sweeping tariffs.
And a judge who ordered fired federal workers to be rehired now says his ruling will include just 19 states and D.C.
Keep it here for full details on these stories in the minutes ahead.
Now 6:18. Traffic and weather on the 8th in the traffic center. Rita Kessler has it.
Well, in general, the spitting rain that we see in certain areas is causing some slick roadways and reduced visibility. So that's going to cause some issues this morning. We definitely have our share of problems to talk about if you're on the Beltway in Maryland. Outer loop delays. First coming off of 95 and before 95 headed toward 29. Within the delay after New Hampshire, keep an eye out on the right side for a crash. You'll also find northbound Baltimore-Washington Parkway. The ramp to 450 had been blocked with the wreck. That may be moved off the ramp. Northbound Pennsylvania Avenue or Route 4 at Dower House Road. The crash cleared. The lanes are open. Still seeing some delays headed toward Dower House. 355 or Rockville Pike near Strathmore Avenue. The late to clear work still there. Single lane gets by both ways. And we did have the earlier wreck in Annapolis. Westbound 450 Defense Highway after Windermere Court near the I-97 overpass. That was a crash involving a vehicle into a pole, so watch out for response still there. 95 in Virginia, a major backup before Dale City headed toward the Prince William Parkway. The crash was in the express lanes near the Prince William Parkway along the right side, then delays in the main lanes through Lorton and Newington. Springfield looks good. 395 delays are building from Route 1 in Crystal City, headed across the 14th Street Bridge and the Case Bridge onto the freeway. Eastbound 66 is solid through Manassas. It is Lee Mill Road in McLean between Georgetown Pike and Tolston Road near Difficult Run. An earlier wreck has a tanker truck leaking fuel, so they've got a lot of cleanup to do there. And Old Dominion Drive south of Georgetown Pike, the lanes were blocked with the fire department activity. In the district, outbound on the Whitney Young Bridge, the left lane is blocked with a broken down vehicle. No help with it, no flashers. So use caution and just stick to the right. Cordell and Cordell Divorce and Family Law, 866-323-7529. Cordell and Cordell, a partner you can count on, CordellCordell.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff. Nothing really on radar, I don't think, but it is kind of misty out there this morning.
Yeah, we just have this low-level moisture. It's just kind of basically the low clouds that are sitting out there along this warm front that eventually will bring us some milder air, is just leading to these clouds just kind of extrude a little bit of moisture, and it's just enough that you have, your wipers are coming on intermittently and the pavement looks wet, but there's no organized showers coming down from the skies. It's just that low-level moisture that is pretty intense, so you definitely can feel that mugginess a little bit out there this morning. Now, as that frontal system, this warm front lifts northward, it should bring some drier conditions into the latter half of the day and allow our temperatures to climb up to near 80 degrees as that warmer air kind of nudges in here. So we're still looking at these light little drizzle pockets and mist to kind of dissipate around mid-morning, and then just cloudy but mild afternoon headed your way. Those winds will pick up as well, so that'll stir up the atmosphere. There will be a southerly wind. Into the evening, we'll watch for a few showers or thunderstorms. There have been lots of action through the Midwest, with 36 tornadoes reported yesterday through portions of the Deep South. That energy is moving eastward, not as strong, but some of those cells may hold together, and we could have a couple of strong storms into the evening if it holds together. It's about a 30 to 40% chance. Overnight 60s. Tomorrow will be near 70. A couple of showers early. Our Friday looking kind of similar to this afternoon with a lot of cloud cover around. Temperatures not quite as warm, low 70s. And then for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, both days in the 70s. A few showers early Saturday, a few storms late Sunday. I think there's still plenty of dry time throughout the weekend, but I just have to tell you, both weekend days do feature some shower chances, and we'll be in and out of the clouds. So not the prettiest of days for the weekend, but still plenty of dry time to get outside. Next week, we do get the sunshine to return, but I'm looking at highs next week, maybe not getting out of the 50s. So don't put away those longer layers just yet. Michelle, I'm talking to you.
She has a track record.
Yes, you wear the appropriate clothing for the weather. It's 55 right now in Greenbelt. It is 56 right now for our friends over in Tyson's Corner. 54 right now in Camp Springs.
Yes, my large closet is ready for anything.
For all seasons.
This forecast brought to you by Gutter Helmet by Lednor Home. Not all gutter solutions are equal. Get engineered performance, not hype, plus no payments for 1 year. Call 888-5-HELMET.
More news in 60 seconds.
Stadler's free tree planting sale is back. Now's the perfect time to plant trees for beauty, shade, and privacy, and to take advantage of our popular free tree planting sale. Buy any tree that is $200 or more between March 27th and April 27th, and we'll plant it in your yard free if you live within 30 miles of the nursery. Delivery and a 1-year warranty are included.
Stop by, shop online, or by phone. There's no need to meet with our landscape crew. Call 877-STADLER.
All right, we're ready on this end. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, team, forget everything you thought you knew about IT, because with Red River, we got ourselves a game changer here.
Red River reimagines the possibilities of technology, enabling organizations to transform beyond the expected. From AI and cybersecurity to cloud, collaboration, and modern infrastructure, Red River delivers more than technology transformation. We deliver business and mission outcomes. Technology decisions aren't black and white. Think red. Learn more at redriver.com.
April 6th at Tropical Smoothie Cafe, rewards members get $5 off an acai bowl or an acai bowl with Nutella. Log into the app on April 6th to redeem your rewards. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Washington's top news.
WTOP News.
Facts matter.
624.
New this morning, one man is dead. Another is fighting for his life following a shooting in Woodlawn. Captain Jesse Katzman with Fairfax County Police says they responded to a shooting between two men on Madge Lane just off Richmond Highway around 1:30 a.m.
It appears that there was a dispute between the two men. One man was injured from the shooting and has been transported to a local area hospital in life-threatening condition. The other has been declared deceased on the scene.
Police are asking anyone with information to call 911.
Sports at 25 and 55 brought to you by Amentum, advancing the future together for the intelligence community.
Dave, Alex Ovechkin still has some work to do, but boy, it's getting close.
Not much.
Yeah, Capitals fall to Carolina last night 5-1, but Alex Ovechkin inches closer to Wayne Gretzky.
Strome coordinating Ovechkin. One time, he scores! The chase is as easy as 1, 2, 3 now.
This place is rocking.
Joe Beninati, Craig Laughlin on Monumental Sports. Ovi records goal number 892, putting him 3 away from breaking Gretzky's NHL mark. Ever wonder what it's like to be in the booth for this historic run? Miking up for a milestone catches up with the Caps radio and TV announcers. It's on the sports page at WTOP.com. NBA Wizards beat Sacramento 116-111. First-round pick Alex Sarnetz, 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting. Baseball, Nationals get swept out of Toronto, dropping the finale 4-2. Orioles get shut out by Boston 3-0. Men's college basketball, Maryland introduces Buzz Williams as its new head coach.
I need to evaluate who's on the team. I need to hire a staff, but we need to be very thoughtful about who joins our team, not only for this year's team, but does it make sense for now and in the future, and does it fit what we want our program to be about?
Williams did meet with the team yesterday. College basketball crown quarterfinals, Georgetown falls to Nebraska 81-69. Malik Mack nets 25 points in defeat. Dave Preston, WTOP Sports.
Coming up, global markets react, and not in a good way, to President Trump's tariff announcement. It's 626.
Ever get the feeling your windows are letting the cold air escape in the summer, or the cold air in when it's chilly outside?
They were old, they were drafty, the bills were high.
Yeah.
I felt like it was time for a change.
I visited Window Nation customer Rumit Pancholi at his home in Silver Spring, where I found him wrapped up in a blanket awaiting his new windows.
This is what we have to do in the winter because it's so cold in here. As the energy bill keeps going up and up and up, it's moving further closer to the front of our minds.
Window Nation owns our entire customer journey end to end. You know, we start with lead generation all the way through to post-install support.
That's Window Nation CEO Jeff Beck, whom I visited at their headquarters in Maryland. He told me from the moment the truck arrives at the home to the moment they install their state-of-the-art insulation and windows, all the way through the lifetime warranty guarantee that they offer.
There's no point in our journey where we can pass the buck and say, well, we installed the windows, so we'll let somebody else take care of them. Post-install. It's all us. It's all Window Nation. It's all about taking care of our customers, making sure they're happy.
The sales team, the install team, they were all very clear about when they were coming, when they wanted to get it installed, when the windows would be ready. I just enjoy those kinds of details, just having that awareness of what's to come.
Jeff told me Window Nation thrives on data. They have an entire part of their operation devoted to pinpointing the age and value of your home and windows to find exactly what's right for you. But don't just take his word for it.
The tests that they did to show how much much heat loss that I would get or not get. It was just phenomenal. It was just impressive to see how much I could save just by getting higher end windows that would last a long time.
What I like is the ability for people to invest in the biggest asset that they're going to have, which is their home.
I would definitely recommend them. I felt like they made the whole process really easy. I mean, I love the color. Final result is amazing.
This message is sponsored by Window Nation.
628. Traffic and weather on the 810 when it breaks. Here's Rita.
And right now, if you're on the Beltway, we definitely have the delays on the Beltway in Maryland. The outer loop top side of the Beltway slows before 95, headed all the way around toward 29 in Georgia. Within the delay, coming from northbound New Hampshire onto the outer loop, the right merge lane had been blocked with the crash. Now it's over on the right shoulder. So it is enough to keep the distraction sticking around. Also, wet roadways, reduced visibility, road spray, all of that is going to be an issue this morning with some of the spitty rain that's been falling. Now, southbound 29 has a delay from New Hampshire Avenue toward University Boulevard with the lanes open. Inner loop of the Beltway, delays before St. Barnabas Road toward the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. And in the district, southbound DC 295 slows after Eastern to East Capitol Street. Northbound I-295, heaviest point from the Suitland Parkway to the 11th Street Bridge. Inbound Suitland Parkway slows in stretches before Branch Avenue all the way to the Douglas Bridge. And it is outbound on the Whitney Young Bridge. The left lane is blocked with a broken down vehicle. Northbound Route 4, still seeing the delays toward Dower House Road. The wreck was moved over to the shoulder. Northbound 5 is a little heavy from the split with 301 in Brandywine. That takes you toward Moores and Earnshaw. The volume continues towards Surratt's Road, a little bit of volume toward Joint Base Andrews, and then it looks good to the Beltway. In Virginia, northbound 95 in the express lanes near the Prince William Parkway, the crash on the right side. Both the express and the main lanes are slow out of Dale City trying to get past it. Then you're going to find the volume in the main lanes through Lorton and Newington. 395 delay from the Pentagon now, headed across the 14th Street Bridge into the district. Eastbound 66 solid through Manassas. Northbound 28 is seeing the delays out of Manassas headed toward Yorkshire Lane. Also, Lee Mill Road was still closed between Georgetown Pike and Tolston Road due to the fuel spill from a tanker truck crash. And back in Maryland, 355 Rockville Pike near Strathmore Avenue, there was a single lane getting by the work in each direction. Callers report the wreck on the northbound Baltimore-Washington Parkway at Fort Powder Mill Road. Minor fender bender, but it was in the left lane. The biggest savings event is happening now at Marlowe Furniture. Save 50% on all furniture, plus Marlowe pays triple your sales tax for even bigger savings. Take it home with 24 months, no interest financing. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
And here's 7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff.
An overall unsettled pattern headed your way, but we are seeing those temperatures on the up and up. We could be near 80 degrees this afternoon, warmer, muggier, but still breezy. These winds coming out of the south. Tracking a few showers and storms that could push through the afternoon and evening. Anything that would roll through could pack a punch, as there are definitely some dynamics in the atmosphere. Into the evening, showers and storms will taper in the 60s. We'll see mostly cloudy conditions for your Friday, and a few showers still possible to kick off the start of the weekend, if you will. Now, as far as the actual weekend, Saturday, I think showers mainly in the morning, but still lots of clouds, low to mid 70s for highs. On Sunday, 70s still as well, tracking some showers and storms, particularly for the back half of the day. Cooler air, though, moves in by early next week. I'm 7 News senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff in the First Alert Weather Center.
All right, right now we've got 53 degrees in Fairfax, 56 in College Park, 57 on the National Mall.
You're listening to WTOP, Washington's news, traffic, and weather station.
The WTOP producer's desk is wired by IBEW Local 26, where electrical contractors come to grow.
Good morning, I'm John Aaron.
I'm Michelle Bash. Andrew Alsbrooks is our producer.
The top story we're following, President Trump's promised trade tariffs are now official, and we're already seeing the effect on the stock market. Right now, Dow futures are down nearly 3%, S&P futures are down nearly 3.5%, NASDAQ futures are down almost 4%. Could be very ugly when the markets open this morning. As part of his expected boost in tariffs, President Trump is immediately implementing a 25% duty on all imported vehicles. Plus, he's putting in place what he says are reciprocal tariffs, though in some cases lower than what specific countries and the European Union charge for American-made goods. CBS News correspondent Nancy Cordes has more on yesterday's Rose Garden announcement.
This is Liberation Day, waiting for a long time.
President Trump laid out the numbers just after the U.S. stock markets had closed. The new 10% baseline tariffs on all goods coming into the U.S. and even higher tariffs on goods from 60 countries that the White House dubbed the worst offenders.
Now, the new tariffs are drawing a swift response from European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who warns they will negatively affect the global economy.
Let's be clear-eyed about the immense consequences. The global economy will massively suffer. Uncertainty will spiral and trigger the rise of further protectionism.
President Trump argues the tariffs will boost manufacturing in the U.S. Economists are warning a war would mean higher prices for American consumers and businesses.
And experts admit there are many unknowns about how a tariff war will affect the national economy. Here's Mark Bush, professor of international business diplomacy at Georgetown University.
The long term is really complicated by the fact that we don't actually know that this is the last tariff salvo. There is absolutely no reason to believe that it is. And keep in mind, for cars, you got a baseline of 10 plus the 25% sector-specific tariff. Are these really stackable tariffs? Is the number on cars 35 or 25? 35 if you stack, 25 if there's some kind of magical waving of the wand for that.
Many other experts have forecast that the new tariffs will likely boost inflation and as a result could also dramatically slow consumer spending while dampening business confidence.
In other news, fewer federal workers could be heading back to their jobs. A federal judge had ordered the Trump administration to reinstate fired federal probationary employees across the country at more than a dozen agencies. But now he has narrowed the scope of his ruling so that it only applies to workers in the 19 states and the District of Columbia, which had challenged the dismissals. Maryland is among the states involved in this lawsuit. Virginia is not.
And the IRS says it's trying to bring back some of the federal probationary employees that were fired. The agency sent an email to the roughly 7,000 laid-off probationary employees, offering them the option to return to work by April 14th, just the day before the tax filing deadline. Another option is that they voluntarily resign from federal service. Jory Heckman with our news partners at Federal News Network says there's a possibility they could be fired again.
What we do know is that the IRS is looking at layoffs in mid-May after the tax filing deadline. And so a lot of IRS employees are fearful that they might be brought back to their jobs only to be fired just a couple months later, expecting that whatever they come back to is not going to be the stability that they expected.
Now, we have been hearing from many federal workers about their experiences. We want to hear from you as well. Send us a voicemail on the WTOP app about what you've been going through. Just use the feedback button in the nav bar.
Elon Musk could soon be taking a step back from his role in the Trump administration.
The president himself has been indicating Musk's time may be up.
I think he's amazing, but I also think he's got a big company to run. And so at some point he's going to be going back. He wants to.
Now, Musk's term would come to an end around the end of May. And despite those earlier suggestions that the president might want to keep him on longer, the White House insists the president still supports Musk and the work he's doing.
That's ABC News White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
Coming up after traffic and weather.
What's it take to be in the top 10% for D.C. area incomes? I'm Jeff Claybaugh.
6:36.
Federal News Network is celebrating its 25th anniversary by sharing 25 transformative moments in government. Presented by Carasoft, your trusted IT solutions provider.
Federal agencies have more office space than they need, but they've taken steps to cut underutilized office space over the past few administrations. More on that in just a moment.
Carasoft and its reseller partners accelerate the future with advanced multi-cloud solutions from AWS, ServiceNow, Red Hat, Trellix, and Google Cloud, empowering federal agencies to do more and achieve more. See them all at carasoft.com/multicloud.
The federal government remains the largest owner of real estate in the country, but it's spent more than 20 years trying to cut building space and the cost of maintaining it. Those efforts gained momentum under the Obama administration. In 2013, the Office of Management and Budget issued a memo freezing the federal real estate footprint. 2 years later, it released a reduce the footprint policy focused on the disposal of excess and underutilized office space. Former Public Building Service Commissioner Norman Dong says the 2015 policy was the first time OMB set a government-wide policy to use property as efficiently as possible.
They recognize how the federal real estate footprint was just continuing to grow. And something else they recognized was that the government doesn't even know how many owned and leased properties it has.
Jory Heckman, Federal News Network.
Discover more now about this moment and others at top25.federalnewsnetwork.com.
FedPoint proudly supports FNN's 25 Transformative Moments.
FedPoint creates and operates digital benefits marketplaces to make it easier for you and millions of federal and military customers to understand, select, and use your benefits. We're here to give you the tools and information you need to navigate the wide array of benefit options available, so you can select the right plans for you and your family. You've earned your benefits. Let us help you use them. Visit FedPointUSA.com today.
6:38. Traffic and weather on the 8s. How are we doing this morning, Rita Kessler?
Well, we're definitely starting to see the delays form in the area. Let's start out on the Beltway in Maryland. Outer loop slows from 95 and off of 95 around toward 29 and Colesville Road. Interloop delays, St. Barnabas to the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, and it's starting to fill in Virginia on the interloop out of Springfield into Annandale, and some volume passing the Dulles Toll Road. Also in Virginia, northbound 95 in the express lanes near the Prince William Parkway. That wreck had been along the right side. Keep an eye out for any response there. Still there. We definitely have the delays both in the main and express from Dale City into Woodbridge. The main lines then slow through Lorton and in Springfield. Then 395 slows from the Pentagon headed across the 14th Street Bridge. Eastbound 66 solid through Manassas. If you're in the district, it is southbound DC 295. Delays from Eastern passing East Capitol Street. Northbound slows passing the Suitland Parkway. Inbound on the Suitland Parkway, delays are after Silver Hill Road in stretches all the way to the Douglas Bridge. It was outbound on the Whitney Young Bridge, a broken down vehicle in the left lane. While on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway northbound, seeing delays through Greenbelt, headed past NASA Goddard and before Powder Mill Road. That was a crash reported to be in the left lane. Also westbound 450 in Annapolis after Windermere Court near the I-97 overpass. That had also been the scene of a crash involving a vehicle into a power pole. The support brought to you by Northwest Financial Advisors. Federal workers facing or considering retirement, they can help. At Northwest Financial Advisors, their world revolves around you. Visit NFWLLC.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
Now to the PJ Fitzpatrick Home Improvement Weather Desk with their lifetime warranty on materials and labor. Trust PJ.com. Here's 7 News First Alert Senior Meteorologist Brian Vandegraff.
An overall unsettled pattern headed your way, but we are seeing those temperatures on the up and up. We could be near 80 degrees this afternoon, warmer, muggier, and there will be a bit of a breeze for the back half of the day. A couple of strong storms are not out of the question as some energy rotates through. Heading into your Friday, looks like we'll start off with the 60s in the morning, near 7 in the afternoon, and still some more showers. I'm 7 News Senior Meteorologist Brian Vandegraff in the First Alert Weather Center.
51 degrees in Leesburg, 56 in Bowie, and 57 now in Georgetown.
640, Money News at 10 and 40 past the hour on WTOP. They took effect this morning, 25% tariffs on all cars imported to the U.S., These in addition to the announced new tariffs of at least 10% on all imports that kick in soon. Now, how are investors reacting to these dramatic changes by President Trump? At this hour, we are looking at Dow futures down nearly 3%, S&P futures off nearly 4%, and NASDAQ futures down almost 4% as well. Overnight, Asian stock markets saw big losses too, so we will have all eyes watching the stock markets here in the U.S. when they open later this morning.
For sure. The D.C. metro area has the second highest median household income among U.S. cities, and WTOP business reporter Jeff Claybaugh says we also rank high for the really well-paid.
The most recent census data ranks the D.C. metro number 8 for 90th percentile income. That's the average individual income of those in the top 10% of earners. It's $331,000. San Jose and Trenton, New Jersey top the list with a top 10% of more than $400,000. Number 3 may immediately not come to mind. It's Abilene, Texas, cattle ranching country at $413,000.
The median household income in the D.C. metro area as of 2023 was just shy of $122,000, topped only by the San Francisco Bay Area.
It's 642.
On average, Americans receive about 10 spam calls per month. That's not counting texts. It's so easy for your phone number to be added to a marketing list, whether it's because you bought something or simply made a call. I'm Kim Commando for Fast Growing Trees. Get an additional 15% off your first purchase when you use code Kim at checkout. FastGrowingTrees.com, code Kim. There are a few ways to hide your number, but the easiest is *67. This hides your landline or cell number. Just punch in *67 followed by the number you're calling. That's it. That person will see private or blocked. Bummer. You have to do that for every call. If you want your number to be hidden all the time, change one setting on your smartphone. On your iPhone, just tap Settings, then Phone, show Caller ID. Toggle it off. On Android, it's called Hide Number. You can also ask your carrier to hide your number, but that's a total hassle. Just use your phone's settings. Over 650,000 people start their day with my free newsletter. Sign up now at getkim.com.
Coming up, the latest on a Maryland man who was deported mistakenly to El Salvador. 6:43.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
How can agencies drive incremental financial management improvements? Think microapps and low-code, no-code solutions, explains R.J. Blake, the president and CEO of Blake Wilson Group.
We've been able to show amazing impact and value in developing our own tools in some of the low-code, no-code technology that exists, Microsoft Office, Power Apps, and some of these things that are often already at the fingertips of the government.
Learn additional ways to continually improve financial management. Go to federalnewsnetwork.com and search BWG.
Founded with a clear mission, Blake Wilson Group was created to serve the nation in becoming better stewards of taxpayer dollars. With roots in leadership, technology, and financial management, Blake Wilson Group's focus is helping agencies recognize efficiencies in meeting their programmatic goals to better achieve their mission. Blake Wilson Group is driving financial stewardship, empowering agencies to do more with less through innovative solutions. Blake Wilson Group is leading the way, paving the path for a stronger, more effective government. Visit BlakeWilsonGroup.com.
We've made big changes to the WTOP app, and it's nothing short of app-tastic.
You'll find the information you want more quickly and easily with an interface that's more appealing.
Local news, traffic, weather, and much more, delivered in ways you'll appreciate.
Get it through Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, or download it wherever you get your apps.
You'll be happy you did.
Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Visit NavyFederal.org, insured by NCUA.
Good morning. It's 6:46. I'm Michelle Bash.
I'm John Aaron. The California man accused of attempting to assassinate Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh plans to plead guilty. Here's CBS News correspondent Scott McFarlane.
Nicholas Roski of California was allegedly found outside the home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. That's in the Maryland suburbs of Washington, D.C., and he was found, in part, according to charging documents reviewed by CBS News, because he called 911 on himself to report that he was there and that he was a danger, allegedly carrying weaponry in a backpack in close proximity to the justice's home.
According to an FBI agent's affidavit, Roski told a police detective he was upset by a leaked draft opinion suggesting the Supreme Court intended to overturn Roe v. Wade.
The Trump administration says it's powerless to return an alleged gang member from Maryland who was deported to a prison in El Salvador, supposedly because of a clerical mistake. Meantime, the White House is insisting the Venezuelan man who had been granted protection in the U.S. is indeed a gang member. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, though, could not cite any particular charge against Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez spoke with his wife Jennifer, who is a U.S. citizen, along with their son.
When they were about to take him, the ICE officer let me say goodbye to him. I was standing right next to him because my son would stretch out his arm to tell him, like, let's go. And then the officer told him you have to say goodbye to him.
The White House now says the man is in El Salvador in custody. There is nothing the U.S. could do, according to the administration, to bring him back.
That are the top stories we're working on here at WTOP.
The financial markets are having sharp reaction to President Trump's new tariffs on foreign goods. Stock futures down sharply ahead of today's trading day.
Some Senate Republicans joined Democrats in passing a bill to block the president's tariffs on Canada.
And we're counting the goals for the Caps' grade 8. OV now just 3 goals away from the history books.
Keep it here for full details on these stories in the minutes ahead.
6:48. Traffic and weather on the 8s. How is traffic now, Rita?
Well, we still have delays throughout the area. We still have the problems in the area, except for the one that we had in the express lanes on northbound 95. That crash near the Prince William Parkway was moved out of the roadway. Everything open there. We do still have delays, however, mostly in the main lanes, coming out of Dumfries, headed into Woodbridge, and then through Lorton. In Springfield, 395 also slows in the Pentagon across the 14th Street Bridge, and eastbound 66 is solid through Manassas. A little bit of volume from the Fairfax County Parkway getting past Route 50. The unusual delay that we're starting to see is westbound on the Dulles Toll Road out of Wolf Trap. So watch out for anything that may have happened there. If you're on the Beltway, your inner loop delay in Maryland is from Branch Avenue all the way to 295 and the Wilson Bridge. Outer loop delays from 95 all the way toward Georgia Avenue in the delay near New Hampshire. That crash was moved over to the right shoulder. Southbound 29 trying to get to the Beltway is seeing a solid backup from Stewart Lane all the way to University Boulevard with nothing.